So really all you saw that day was Night Witch decks, whereas Godslayer pretty much just played Lavaloon all his way through with to the table today. Because I mean, if they keep...
So this is going to be a fantastic match.
And we've got Giant, Night Witch, Miner, kind of a similar deck to what we saw out of the last match here for Oxalate. Rice is running that P.E.K.K.A. Battle Ram deck. So it's funny, I want to call out, the Couch was like really shocked by this P.E.K.K.A. Battle Ram deck. This has been a rising deck in the metagame. Am I wrong? The CR Worlds tournament, where we've got players from all over the globe, have really been playing this deck. It's come out of, I think, the Latin America meta.
Yeah, so the P.E.K.K.A. is, with the rise in Night Witch, obviously you sometimes need a tank for the Night Witch.
Okay.
And so people have been playing Golems and Giants. Well, there's also some Graveyard Three Musketeer decks, but this deck has the answers to those. So you can play the P.E.K.K.A. and not have to worry about, okay, I'm going to get stomped by a Three Musketeer deck, but you have the answers to that. You have Lightning, you have Baby Dragon Tornado, you can get that splash damage off, you can just take them out with the Lightning immediately. And the P.E.K.K.A. is just there for, okay, in case I play a beatdown, I can just toss the P.E.K.K.A. down, take care of their tank, and clean up their supporting troops with like splash damage.
We saw how effective in the last game 2 small spells are. He's got Zap and Tornado, so we'll see how that does against the Night Witch. Interesting that Rice is not playing Night Witch himself, which I think is a little surprising given how strong she is. Here comes Baby Dragon down the left side lane. They took a while to decide what their first cards were going to be, but they eventually decided neither of them wanted to wait till Double Elixir to start battle.
Yes, so the Baby Dragon, Rice is just going to let that go, let the Baby Dragon do its thing. The Battle Ram is not going to connect to the tower, but some okay damage from the Barbarians, but here's the P.E.K.K.A. to answer the Giant.
The Baby Dragon's locked onto the Giant, though, and if it doesn't turn around too soon, that could really get in trouble. But no, there he is, was able to survive. Baby Dragon's going to move a little ahead, though, of the P.E.K.K.A. and take the tower shots. We'll see if that P.E.K.K.A. can get distracted. There is skeletons in the deck. We'll see if Zap hits them. Yes.
Yep, there's
wow,
Zap.
And now the P.E.K.K.A.'s closing in on the tower. Oh, no! Night Witch gets cleaned up in one shot. We got one swing from the P.E.K.K.A. Two swings. Three? That's
Three
a tower!
takes the tower. Wow. The Zap was ready to take down those skeletons. Rice knew Oxalate had skeletons in his deck, and that Zap was ready to go immediately to make sure that P.E.K.K.A. got to the tower, and he got a lot of damage on the King's Tower as well.
The greatest part of the Crown Championship Series is seeing the best decks from metas all across the world. This deck, developed in the Latin American scene initially, has been really picked up in the last few weeks by players as they've just seen how effective it can be at generating these insane, unstoppable counter pushes.
Yeah, and the Battle Ram is actually going to go to the tower right here and connect for some serious damage, and they get distracted by the Miner. And now we have a Lightning coming down. Interesting choice right there.
Lightning, yeah. These bats may fly ahead, though, and let the archers clean them up, but of course the Night Witch right behind it pulls up. Tornado's going to pull all the skeletons and bats away, kills the Night Witch. No, the Night Witch is still surviving behind there.
Yeah, the Night Witch is still alive. All the bats and skeletons spawn in. Let's see if Oxalate can take this tower within 5 seconds.
He does have some time.
Down.
He could do it.
He's going to connect.
Oh, the Lightning! Oh, 86 health!
Wow. The Lightning almost secured that tower for Oxalate, and we would have been into overtime. But that King Tower was pretty low on health itself.
To be fair, I think Oxalate might have lost that game kind of no matter what, because even if that tower goes down, the push was almost wrapped up, right? Like, there wasn't a lot of momentum to go towards the 3 crown, and you could have gotten Lightninged out of the game. I mean, Rice's deck had 3 spells in it. Let's take a look here. We've got Rice coming in with that push. Now, here's a great Zap. The Zap takes out the Mega Minion and all 4 skeletons, even hits the tower as well.
Yep, and then we see
placement.
the archers cleaning up the bats from the Night Witch, because the P.E.K.K.A. just one-shots it, and then archers are free to clean up the bats and keep that P.E.K.K.A. alive.
And we see the follow-through.
Then you have no counter to it.
And both have brought graveyard decks, almost identical splash yard decks, exactly identical splash yard decks.
Exact same decks.
So here we go. Well, Oxalate is more of the graveyard specialist, so he might feel more comfortable in the mirror match, but of course neither of them know what they're playing. They both cycle skeletons. That doesn't mean anything. That's every deck in the metagame is going to be able to do that. No, both are sitting at 10, and again, like, because the 1 Elixir Skeleton doesn't really do anything. It helps get a new card in your hand, but it doesn't reveal anything about your deck, or really because it doesn't threaten a tower, it doesn't force your opponent to do anything either.
Yeah, and both players are sitting at the full 10 Elixir here, and like the first move is so critical, you don't want to make that overcommitment, and that's what both players are thinking right now.
Yeah. Well, let me give you an example. Let's talk this one out. Let's say that Oxalate played an Executioner behind the King Tower just like that. Rice would have an opportunity to go in the other lane with like a Night Witch, knowing that Executioner's out of hand. Rice is opting to pair them up one-on-one and fight a little bit, but there are situations where if you put too much Elixir down on the wrong side, or you leave a vulnerability for your opponent, they can exploit it because you're down to only half your normal Elixir bar.
Yeah, and a Poison is going to come down, and this is going to be a valuable poison right here. It's going to take down the Executioner completely, and Oxalate's Executioner is still alive, and it will take down that Baby Dragon, and it looks like it's not going to be able to get a hit off on the Crown Tower.
So close, but yeah, Executioner has a very short attack range. It's a little hard. Here we see almost all of Rice's elixir spent on this Night Witch graveyard push. Skeletons, Ice Golem, Baby Dragon come down. That is less elixir than what was spent on the push. It looks like he's largely not going to take that much damage, and the counterattack's coming in, so pretty good defense by Oxalate. A Rice-like defense.
It was very grainy.
Well, the skeletons, though, but here's the thing about Graveyard is it's hard to stop all the damage.
Yeah.
Oxalate did take about 500 damage on the tower, but of course the counterattacking Baby Dragon returned the favor.
Yeah, how do you feel about the Executioners going in the same lane?
I'm kind of surprised that Rice did that in the opening exchange. I really expected when that Executioner came out that we would see like a really hard Night Witch Graveyard push on the other hand, but because we don't see their opening hands, it's possible Rice just didn't have them. Right? Just didn't have the tools to pull off that push.
Yeah, and the positioning of the poison was key right there. It kept the Executioner inside while the Executioner was able to finish it off, so that was a positive change for Oxalate, and now he has a big push coming in on that right-hand side, and he's going to be able to defend the Graveyard Night Witch push coming in the opposite lane with the defensive poison.
Skeleton's so strong against Executioner. Even though Executioner hits them in a splash setup, if you can place them very close, he might swing and hit only 2 of them at a time. And there's even an excellent placement where you can put all 4 skeletons surrounding that Executioner and have him counter the tower. More skeletons have already locked onto that tower. The Baby Dragon is hitting the Ice Golem instead of the skeletons, along with the poison is wearing it down.
Ooh, 312 remains on that right-hand or left-hand tower, but Oxalate has a good push coming in and down on the right-hand side.
Outside of poison range too, so it's not just going to be a poison that's going to do. It's going to have to be a graveyard poison or some other offensive attack. I think Rice has got to be real happy with his defense there. 500 health on that tower is a lot. Here comes Graveyard. Executioner comes down. Here comes the poison. A few skeletons are getting their little punches in, and that might be enough. I think Rice is going to take this game here.
28. There's the game. Rice.
Wow.
4-0 today.
2-0 against Oxalate. A great player. 2-0 in his first match of the day. Like, I think Rice was not considered one of the favorites in this top 8. I mean, he's been around for a while. He's definitely a veteran.
Dragon actually locked onto the Ice Giant, or Ice Golem, before the Graveyard started to come out, so you didn't get any of that splash damage, and that's when Rice got a lot of his damage.
Yeah, you saw there at the end, Rice just dropped down the Graveyard, hoping that 2 skeletons, I think, would get a hit off in the poison.
And I promised you guys that I would explain a little bit more about the scoreboard once we had some points on the board. So now, as you can see, we've got a little bit more going. This makes a little bit more sense. Rice in the lead and Batman following right behind. Something to note, there's some color coded here. This is the round robin stage, and as they move on, they'll be moving into our finals. Essentially, every time you win a match, which is the best of 3 per game, you're going to earn a point, and you're going to get to move up the leaderboard. And if you don't win, you're probably going to move down. If you end in the green, so if you're top 2 by the end of round robin, you get preferential seeding moving into our finals, which means you get a bye. You're essentially immediately into the semis. You get a boost in front of everybody else. But if you're in the bottom 2, you're done for. You don't even actually make it to the finals. Your dreams are crushed. You're pretty much done here. And as far as the Blues concerned, they're fighting for the best seed. So obviously, as you move on to bracket further on, the higher seed you are, the more opportunity you get to play someone that's a lower seed and maybe didn't perform as well.